Hello and welcome to the session where we'll be discussing consulting frameworks and everything that you need in order to get started with your consulting preparation. So we'll be going through a list of around five consulting frameworks that would be profit, profitability, growth, market entry, pricing, and M&A. So this can serve as a video which you can use to just start your preparation. This is not everything that you will need. You will have to practice. You will have to practice with your seniors. You will have to practice with your peers. But this would be a good starting guide for you all. So let's start. So before you start, so how a consulting case looks like is that if you haven't seen any video by now. So there will be a statement, a cue given to you. For example, your client is a steel manufacturer and they have been facing a decline in its profitability since the last 3 years. So they want you to come up with certain recommendations. How would you go about it? That is just the cue. That is it. So before you start, should you be repeating the statement? Should you be asking the interviewer again that, as per my understanding, our client is a steel manufacturer located in India and is facing a decline? That is not needed. A lot of people will tell you that you will have to repeat the statement, but if you just heard it, it makes no sense to repeat the statement again. However, if you want to clarify something else, for example, if the case talks about a very particular business which you do not know about, for example, a case talked about a decline in credit card fee earned by a bank. If you want to understand what credit card fee means, then you should repeat the statement and say that, as per my understanding, credit card fee means that the fee which a bank has to pay to other banks in order to use the machines for other, in order to use the machines which are operated by other banking operators. So if something like that, that is particularly fine. But just repeating the statement means that that you are following a set track and you have a certain mindset. Don't do that. Then we have initial questions. So whenever you will be starting with a case, you will have to ask a few preliminary questions. So thumb of rule here is to use this 3 CPI questions. So 3 CPI stands for the company. You will ask what the company does, where the company is located, what is the manpower, what is the size of the company, since when are they operating. So this is something that you would want to know about the company. Then we have the competition. So how many players are in the market? How saturated or fragmented is the market? Is there a monopoly in the market? Is our company a monopoly in the market? That is something that you might want to understand. Then the context of the problem. So by context, we mean is that if you are given a case which just talks about a reduction in profitability, then you would want to ask again that, is the reduction seen in certain products of the company? Since when is the company facing this issue? And context also means the scope of the problem. So whether this is an industry-wide problem or a company-wide problem. So that is the context you might want to take a look at. The product, then what product are we talking about? If it is a steel industry, then are we talking about a particular grade of steel? If we are talking about, say, a tire manufacturing industry, then are we talking about a two-wheeler or a three-wheeler? If we are talking about, say, a tech industry, then are we talking about the software as a service which the company gives, or are we talking about certain fee on the software which it sells, for example, Microsoft? So you would want to understand what the product is. Then the industry as a whole. So if it is a new industry, for example, a new industry for you, let us say an insurance industry, and you haven't done any case or haven't done any project in that industry, you might want to understand what the insurance industry in India or in some other country looks like, whatever the case talks about. So this is the key thumb rule. So again, industry wide and company wide, this is something very important you might want to understand. So if it is a company wide problem, you will have to come up with solutions which are tailored to the company. If it is an industry wide problem, then you will have to take a look in some other direction. For example, if there is a very high tariff on importing cars to India, 100%, 150% duty which needs to be paid, then you can lobby with other companies in the space and persuade the government to reduce that tariff. So if that is something industry wide, then all the companies can also collaborate. Once you have all your preliminary questions cleared, take some time in order to build your framework, build your first line of thought, build your level one and level two understanding of the case. By taking time, it shouldn't exceed more than 20 to 30 seconds in the first step if you're not very thorough with what the case is going to look like. And the case should be in a conversation mode. So the person who will be sitting in front of you is there to help you solve the case. However, the person will not tell you any answers. You will have to be in a conversation mode. You will have to make the other person comfortable by talking, by giving your insights about that problem, about that industry, and what you feel and what might be correct or not. But it will be a conversation, so you will have to converse. It is not a viva, it is a consulting solution. And imagine that you're sitting with the client, so that is the kind of a setting that you're looking at.